Cyber intrusion refers to any malicious activity where an unauthorized user attempts to gain access to a computer system, network, or data, often with the intent to cause damage or theft. In the context of power system operators, cyber intrusion can have serious implications. Power system operators are responsible for the continuous supply of electricity to consumers, maintaining the balance between electricity supply and demand, and ensuring the stable operation of the power grid. A cyber intrusion could disrupt these operations, potentially leading to power outages, equipment damage, and even safety hazards. Furthermore, power system operators often have access to sensitive information, such as operational data, customer information, and market data. A cyber intrusion could lead to unauthorized access and potential misuse of this information. Therefore, it's crucial for power system operators to have robust cybersecurity measures in place to detect, prevent, and respond to cyber intrusions effectively. This includes implementing strong access controls, regularly updating and patching systems, monitoring network activity for signs of intrusion, and having a response plan in place in case an intrusion is detected. Here are some examples of cyber intrusions in power systems. South Korean nuclear power plant. In 2014, the South Korean nuclear and hydroelectric company, Korea Hydro and Nuclear Power KHNP, was hacked. The hackers stole and posted online the plans and manuals for 2 nuclear reactors, as well as the data of 10,000 employees. Power electronic systems. Power electronic systems, including connected electric vehicles (EVs), have become increasingly vulnerable to cyber-physical threats due to their growing penetration in Internet of Things (IoT)-enabled applications, substations of a power grid, unencryptable multicast messages, e.g., Goose and SMV, due to the requirements, misconfigured firewalls, and IEDs and user interfaces with default passwords have been identified as potential vulnerabilities for cyber intrusions into substations of a power grid. These examples highlight the importance of robust cybersecurity measures in power systems to prevent such incidents.
5 elements of cybersecurity are very important. 1. Identify. 2. Protect. 3. Detect. 4. Respond. 5. Recover. First element is identify. In the identification phase, organizations need to conduct an audit and determine which of their systems are truly vital for their operations. Once this audit is completed and you have an idea of your most important core systems, it can inform your cybersecurity strategy to prioritize protecting these processes. Second element is protect. After identifying your core systems and writing out a strategy that prioritizes their defenses, it's incredibly important to actually implement these cybersecurity safeguards and practices. Third element is detect. A powerful cybersecurity strategy includes constant monitoring. Since cyber attacks are typically silent, you need systems and cybersecurity professionals in place who know where to look and what to look for. By detecting cyber threats immediately, you have a much better chance at mitigating the potential damage. Fourth element is respond. If a cyber threat is detected, it's also on the shoulders of the cybersecurity team to respond to the active threat. This involves communication, damage mitigation, isolation, and event analysis, the why and how behind the attack. Having a full team of cybersecurity professionals working to protect your organization and your data will prepare you to handle cyber threats now and in the future. Fifth element is recover. Finally, the last component of cybersecurity framework is recovery. This involves a well-established business continuity strategy that should be written out as part of the larger, comprehensive cybersecurity strategy. Disaster recovery and business continuity plans will prepare you for the worst when it comes to cybersecurity, so have a thought-out action plan to follow in the case of a successful cyber attack against your business.
Understanding and mitigating cyber intrusions is of paramount importance for power system operators due to several reasons. Reliability of power supply. Power systems are critical infrastructure that need to operate reliably and continuously. Cyber intrusions can disrupt the operation of these systems, leading to power outages and affecting a large number of consumers. Safety. Cyber intrusions can lead to unsafe operating conditions in power systems, potentially causing equipment damage and posing a risk to personnel safety. Economic impact. Disruptions in power supply due to cyber intrusions can have significant economic impacts. This includes not only the direct costs associated with rectifying the issue, but also indirect costs due to loss of productivity in business. Confidentiality of information. Power system operators handle sensitive information related to the grid operation and energy markets. Cyber intrusions can lead to unauthorized access and potential misuse of this information. Regulatory compliance. There are stringent regulations in place for the operation of power systems, including requirements for cybersecurity. Non-compliance due to cyber intrusions can lead to penalties. Public confidence. Frequent cyber intrusions can erode public confidence in the ability of power system operators to provide a reliable power supply. Therefore, it's crucial for power system operators to have robust cybersecurity measures in place to detect, prevent, and respond to cyber intrusions effectively. Here are some common types of cyber intrusion attempts. Malware. Malware or malicious software is any program or code that is created with the intent to harm a computer, network, or server. This term encompasses many subsets such as ransomware, trojans, spyware, viruses, worms, keyloggers, bots, cryptojacking, denial of service DOS attacks. These attacks aim to make a machine or network resource unavailable to its intended users by temporarily or indefinitely disrupting services of a host connected to the Internet. Phishing. Phishing is a type of cyber attack that involves sending fraudulent communications that appear to come from a reputable source, usually through email. The goal is to steal sensitive data like credit card and login information or to install malware on the victim's machine. Spoofing. Spoofing is a situation in which one person or program successfully masquerades as another by falsifying data and thereby gaining an illegitimate advantage. Identity-based attacks. These attacks involve the use of someone else's identity, such as their username and password, to gain access to their personal information or to gain access to their computer system. Code injection attacks. Code injection is the exploitation of a computer bug that is caused by processing invalid data. Injection is used by an attacker to introduce or inject code into a vulnerable computer program and change the course of execution. Supply chain attacks. A supply chain attack is a cyber attack that seeks to damage an organization by targeting less secure elements in the supply network. Insider threats. Insider threats stem from individuals with legitimate access to the systems they target, using their access to exploit vulnerabilities intentionally or inadvertently. DNS tunneling. DNS tunneling is a method used to send data over the DNS protocol, a protocol which has never been intended for data transfer. It was first used for good intentions, but now it is also used for malicious activities. IoT-based attacks. IoT-based attacks target the myriad of Internet of Things devices that are notorious for weak security and can be easily compromised and controlled by attackers. This part is important for system operator. Check: are you under attack? Recognizing an attack or an attempt to attack, system operators are uniquely positioned to recognize cyber threats through direct access to cyber assets and direct contact with field personnel. Operators may be the first to recognize real-time threats to system security. They may also be targets of social engineering attempts. Operators are potentially the first and last line of defense to potential threats. As threats to cyber assets are continually evolving, it is difficult to provide a comprehensive list of anomalies that may require a response. Rather, an operator's awareness and questioning attitude likely provide the greatest value. Real-time operating staff should be vigilant in asking themselves why their cyber assets are responding unusually. The system operator should be asking their IT support to investigate any strange, unusual behavior whenever it is detected. Similar to physical security concerns, operators should be encouraged to say something when they see something. It is understood that increased vigilance may result in false positive reports. However, it is better to play it safe when cyber assets are behaving unusually. Examples of anomalies that may require attention. Workstation unexpectedly locked out and/or receive a message indicates password has been changed. Pointer or mouse cursor moving by itself. Files, messages flashing, suspicious pop-ups appear on the screen. New icons appear on desktop or in Start menu. System is unusually slow or unresponsive. Simultaneous loss of operational support. Systems e.g. HVAC, fire suppression, phone communications. Observing unusual system activity. Or alarms from cyber assets. For example, simultaneous loss of multiple components of the EMS, SCADA system. Multiple breaker operations during a non-storm event. Any unexplainable manual operations. Multiple perceived suspicious readings. Requests for information about the system, social engineering attempts. Unexpected system shutdown or reboot. Complete loss of SCADA capabilities that support real-time operations. Erratic EMS. SCADA system equipment behavior. Messages. Alarms. Or degradation of performance, especially when more than one device exhibits the same behavior. Anti-malware application alerts on operator human-machine interfaces. Unexpected user account authentication lockouts or change in user privileges. Calls from data partners, other entities who see your data to verify suspicious data being received via communication associations, exchange. Initial actions and internal notification response. When unusual system behavior is observed, take any immediate steps outlined in your cybersecurity incident response plan. As soon as possible, contact your cybersecurity team and follow their instructions. When describing issue, include details on the impact ES of problem. This will help responders to follow best protocol to safe resolution, containment, and preservation of evidence. Depending on an entity's cybersecurity incident response plan, this may require an operator too. Contact Energy Management System EMS. Operational Technology OT. Information Technology IT. And cybersecurity personnel. Notify the other operators on duty. Now come to an external response. Once an attack attempt has been confirmed, follow the reporting instructions of your organization's cybersecurity incident response plan if available. This may involve notifying other control centers, adjacent control centers, or connected distribution centers, etc. Cybersecurity staff, assuming responsibility for confidential communications related to cyber event. Cybersecurity staff, isolating certain equipment for containment, forensic analysis, evidence retention, and/or recovery. Law enforcement personnel taking control of an area or confiscating equipment. Reliable operations should be maintained through a coordinated response between law enforcement, operations, and an entity's physical cybersecurity teams. Recognizing indicators of potentially malicious activity. As threats to cyber assets are continually evolving, it is difficult to provide a comprehensive list of anomalies that may require investigation or a response. Rather, a system operator's familiarity with their systems, awareness, and a questioning attitude likely provide the greatest value. Real-time operating staff should be vigilant in asking themselves why their cyber assets are responding unusually. The system operator should be asking their information technology, IT, or operational technology, OT, support to investigate any strange, unusual behavior whenever it is detected. Similar to physical security concerns, system operators should be encouraged to say something when they see something. It is understood that increased vigilance may result in false positive reports because some of the anomalies listed below can be caused by malicious activity, as well as non-malicious system or equipment issues. However, it is better to play it safe when cyber assets are behaving unusually. Examples of anomalies that may require attention: observing unusual or unexplained behavior on workstations. For example, workstation unexpectedly locked out or displaying a message indicating password has been changed. Pointer or mouse cursor moving by itself in an intentional manner, i.e., to perform a task with the cursor, not simply random movement. Files, messages flashing, suspicious pop-ups appear on the screen. New applications or icons appearing or expected applications or icons disappearing from the desktop or start menu. System is unusually slow or unresponsive, or has unusual hard disk or network activity.
Observing unusual system activity or alarms from cyber assets. For example, Coincident loss of multiple components of Energy Management System EMS or Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition SCADA systems supporting real-time operations. E.G. alarming, ICCP connectivity, state estimation, or contingency analysis. Unexplainable power system operations such as breaker operations, transformer tap changes, or AGC set points, inconsistent with system conditions. E.g. multiple breaker operations during a non-storm event. Unexplainable manual operations or settings changes. Multiple perceived suspicious telemetry point values, inconsistent with system conditions and other apparently normal point values. Telephone or email requests for information about technical systems or operational procedures, or for remote access social engineering attempts. Unexpected system shutdown or reboot. Complete loss of SCADA capabilities that support real-time operations. Erratic EMS, SCADA system equipment behavior, messages, alarms, or degradation of performance, especially when more than one device exhibits the same behavior. Anti-malware application alerts on system operator human-machine interfaces. User account authentication requests at atypical times or systems, account lockouts, or change in user privileges. Calls from data partners, other entities who see your data to verify suspicious data being received via communication associations, exchange. Other unusual occurrences such as coincident loss of operational support systems, e.g., heating, ventilation, and air conditioning HVAC, fire suppression, phone, communications, physical access control systems PACs at control centers. Discovering unauthorized, e.g., USB sticks or wireless access points, or recognizing missing equipment from control centers. When unusual system behavior is investigated but not resolved, take any immediate steps outlined in your cybersecurity incident response plan. As soon as possible, contact your cybersecurity team and follow their instructions. System operators are not responders for cybersecurity incidents. When describing the issue, include details on the observed and potential impacts of the situation. This will help responders as they work through the identification, containment, eradication, and recovery phases of incident response. Consistent with an entity's cybersecurity incident response plan, this may require a system operator to contact OT or EMS support, IT support, and cybersecurity personnel. Assess impacts and risks to reliable operations. Notify the other system operators on duty. Notify field personnel working in or around potentially involved facilities. Once your organization's cybersecurity incident response plan has been initiated, follow the reporting instructions of the plan. Certain response actions will involve system operators either actively or for awareness of potential risks to reliable operations, even though system operators are not directly responsible for these actions. These may include notifying other control centers adjacent, distribution via telephone, or other existing interpersonal communications procedures. Receiving guidance from legal staff on allowable release of information, or cybersecurity staff assuming responsibility for confidential communications related to the incident. Coordination with appropriate cybersecurity, engineering, or other technical staff to effectively isolate suspect devices for containment, forensic analysis, evidence retention, eradication, and recovery. Law enforcement personnel requesting particular actions to preserve evidence. Reliable operations should be maintained through a coordinated response between law enforcement, operations, and an entity's physical, cybersecurity teams. As the incident response progresses, system operators should be prepared to take operational actions as documented in your organization's operating plan. These could include implementing specific operating procedures because of incident response activities, e.g., changing the status of equipment or monitoring and control systems to support investigation, or general operating processes as proactive steps, e.g., declaring a conservative operations status. Let's discuss cybersecurity threat vectors. Cybersecurity threat vectors are paths or tools that an entity can use to gain access to a device or a control network in order to deliver a malicious attack. Figure next page shows examples of attack vectors on a network that might otherwise seem secure. The paths in figure include external users accessing the network through the internet, misconfigured firewalls, unsecure wireless routers and wired modems, infected laptops located elsewhere that can access the network behind the firewall, infected USB keys and PLC logic programs, unsecure RS-232 serial links. The most common malicious attacks come in the following forms. Virus, a software program that spreads from one device to another, affecting operation. Trojan horse, a malicious device program that hides inside other programs and provides access to that device. Worm, a device program that spreads without user interaction and affects the stability and performance of the ICS network. Spyware, a device program that changes the configuration of a device. ICS hardening. The goal for system hardening is to reduce as many security risks as possible by securely configuring ICS networks. The idea is to establish configurations based on what is required and eliminate unnecessary services and applications that could potentially provide another possible entry point to an intruder. Minimum security baselines should be established for the various platforms and products deployed. Operating system, application, and infrastructure elements such as drives, meters, HMI devices. The following actions should be implemented where applicable. Disable unnecessary services. Disable anonymous FTP. Do not use clear text protocols, e.g., use SSH-v2 instead of Telnet. Install only required packages, applications, features. Deploy antivirus solutions where possible. Disable or otherwise control use of USB devices. Establish a warning banner. Change default passwords, e.g., SNMP. It may be easier to implement these actions on devices for which you control the base operating system platform. However, several of the items listed above can be configured from the product-specific configuration options. Changes such as these could potentially impact the functionality of a control system device. Extensive testing needs to be conducted before deployment to minimize this impact. Policies, procedures, standards, and guidelines. For the defense in-depth strategy to succeed, there must be well-documented and continuously reviewed policies, procedures, standards, and guidelines. Policies provide procedures or actions that must be carried out to meet objectives and to address the who, what, and why. Procedures provide detailed steps to follow for operations and to address the how, where, and when. Standards typically refer to specific hardware and software, and specify uniform use and implementation of specific technologies or parameters. Guidelines provide recommendations on a method to implement the policies, procedures, and standards. Continuous assessment and security training. It is critical that ICS network administrators and regular users be properly trained to ensure the security of the ICS and the safety of the people who operate and depend on it. Ongoing vulnerability assessments are critical to identify issues and understand the effectiveness of other defensible network elements. Assessments should include testing and validating the following. Monitoring capabilities and alerts are triggered and responded to as expected. Device configuration of services and applications. Expected connectivity within and between zones. Existence of previously unknown vulnerabilities in the environment. Effectiveness of patching. A program should be established for performing assessments. The actual assessment should be performed by a qualified resource, which can be an in-house or third-party organization. Regardless of who performs the assessments, in-house resources need to be involved in the planning, scoping, and supporting of assessment activities and must be appropriately trained to do so. Here are some strategies to protect your system from cyber intrusion. Continuous monitoring and improvement plan. Digital transformation, cloud technology, and remote work have increased almost every organization's attack surface, creating more opportunities for system and application vulnerabilities to creep in. These weaknesses can seem innocuous, such as an unpatched system or misconfigured application, but these small cracks in your network are easily detected and exploited by hackers. Intrusion Detection System (IDS). An IDS is either a hardware device or software application that uses known intrusion signatures to detect and analyze both inbound and outbound network traffic for abnormal activities. This is done through system file comparisons against malware signatures, scanning processes that detect signs of harmful patterns, monitoring user behavior to detect malicious intent, and monitoring system settings and configurations. Intrusion Prevention System (IPS). An IPS complements an IDS configuration by proactively inspecting a system's incoming traffic to weed out malicious requests. A typical IPS configuration uses web application firewalls and traffic filtering solutions to secure applications. 4. Third-party risk management. Third-party risk management is the task of understanding and mitigating the risk associated with outsourcing work and services to third-party vendors. A breach in a vendor's network can potentially impact all connected organizations. If you suspect a cyber intrusion on the power system, it's important to report it immediately to the appropriate authorities. Here are some general steps you can follow. 1. Identify the incident. The first step is to identify the incident. This could be anything from a suspicious email to an unexpected shutdown of systems. 2. Contact local authorities. Private sector entities experiencing cyber incidents are encouraged to report a cyber incident to the local field offices of federal law enforcement agencies. 3. Sector-specific agency. Report the incident to your sector-specific agency. For power systems, this could be your local or national electricity regulatory authority. 4. National Cybersecurity Center. In some countries, such as the UK, you can report the incident to the National Cybersecurity Center. 5. Department of Defense. If you're a DoD contractor or subcontractor in the U.S., you must report the incident within 72 hours of discovery. Remember, each country and organization may have its own specific procedures for reporting cyber intrusions. Always refer to your organization's cybersecurity policy and local laws for guidance.